AI is making us very smart. So like we're very quickly, what my TED talk was about is why should the audience care who made an ad, right? Because they just see the ad. Like who cares who made it? Like on a that level, we
Right.
care. But why? Why do we care, right? And it was about understanding like what it means if it's not if you're not if you're sold something that isn't authentic, that isn't true, if somebody's shaping a story that isn't your story, that isn't, they're changing the way you think. But in that time, I did that talk 6 years ago, right? So there wasn't the AI thing yet, discussion. You didn't like, did you watch an ad and question? Right, like how it was told, who told it, like making sure you understood that you're being sold to by a voice,
Yeah.
right? A voice that, and AI is kind of teaching us very quickly now to question everything we see, to
Yes. Yes.
question, is it real? Is it actually made by real? Is this a real person? Is this a voice? Is this like, so
Mm.
that's interesting because that even puts the bar higher to what is real emotion. And I think
Yeah.
brands need to do both, right?
Well,
There's so
exactly. I was
much.
going to say, do you think that there's a world where they can live
Yeah.
side by side? So you've got the
I-
AI, which is very
Yeah.
clearly AI, and it's entertaining in that
Yeah, or it
sense.
does a job of pushing the product in
Yeah,
front of
or
my.
does that job exactly in a very
Yeah.
sort of obvious way. And then you've got the very
Mhm.
authentic storytelling, which feels in so many respects. I mean, just looking at sort of like BAFTA this year and the stories. I mean, just wonderful, true, authentic storytelling,
Yeah.
which I think that for a while we haven't really had, and it feels like that's really sort of at the forefront at the moment, and hopefully it will sort of
Yeah.
continue that
I'm
way.
seeing I'm seeing lots of scripts that I'm seeing at the moment are like dystopian, and I think that
Yes.
that's that is going to go somewhere else, like with people's mindset. So there's always the kind of, what do people
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
need at this point, and certainly hard for. I mean, it's funny. There's this graph about like the genres: documentary, romantic comedy,
Mm,
thriller, action, sci-fi, and the ones you're describing, so there is like, how challenging is it to watch it? So being a horror or a true crime is really hard to watch,
right.
but that's the thrill of it, right? And then the romantic comedy is really easy to watch, and then the emotional payoff. So that those are the two kind of things it's measuring, and then it shows documentary drama and social impact type films gain the most of both those emotions, like really strong emotion. Like how often we get a marketeer asking us, I want to make people laugh and cry, because
Yeah.
we know that that drives purchase, right? Purchasing power. So it tends to be that those kind of films are the ones that brands traditionally want to make or back, like the impactful stories of the refugee who walked across the Saharan desert.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Which is great that if they're truly behind that. But now it's an interesting time because we're also finding the power of sci-fi and horror, and that actually also drives. But you got to know your audience, or which one you want to get. So yeah, the films we see that the films we see in at BAFTA, like the I Swear, was incredible, right? And
Yes, yes.
real story, like it's almost a documentary, and it's done
Exactly.
so well. And that is one that is challenging. I found it really hard to watch sometimes, that you're like, oh, it's so unfair, and how could they do? And then it was also so emotionally rewarding, and you did cry in the or felt really like driven to
Mm,
that. If there would have been a brand that backed that film silently, like in the way that Johnson and Johnson did the documentary about the AIDS ward, um, that would absolutely gain them such momentum of like understanding their, that power, and yeah,
yeah.
uh,
No,
and
I
for
couldn't
its
agree
movie.
more. Yeah, absolutely. And I know you do a lot of work with, the disabled and, hope disability, I was reading about that,
Yeah,
which is just, yeah, such incredible, meaningful work.
yeah, I love that. I
Yes.
I love the power we can the we all have to put our skills to uh, I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't live with myself to do all that.
No, absolutely.